Hello everyone and welcome back to WD18 for a bit of a different video where we're going to be finding out and giving you everything you need to know about Watford's incoming signing, Mamadou Doumbia. We'll be finding out what kind of player he is, whether he'll be able to hack it for the Championship next season and how high his ceiling is. But of course, we need to have someone with a bit more intel, someone who knows him. And we've got a very special guest today. So introducing Jacek Kulig from Football Talent Scout. Thanks for joining. How are you?
Hi, Charlie. All good, all good. Thanks for having me here.
Do you mind telling us a bit about what you do and what you've done with Football Talent Scout?
So yeah, Football Talent Scout is probably the biggest scouting project online. So I started it like over 10 years ago. Since then, I scout, I watch, I analyze players from all around the world. I watch football daily, like 10 hours a day. So football is my addiction. I also scout professionally for some teams, agents, now for a company named Nordensa. So mostly in the African market. So I know Doumbia very well. And yeah, football and scouting is my passion. It's my whole life. Like as my girlfriend says, it's not a passion anymore. It's an obsession.
Well, it sounds like we've got the perfect guest, so thank you for joining. Before we talk about Mamadou, we wanted to ask about interest in just getting a perspective from an outsider about Watford. How much do you know about Watford and what are your thoughts?
Well, as I'm a huge follower of football, so I know Watford quite well. Well, mostly thanks to João Pedro, which I was a big fan of João Pedro since his early days at Fluminense. So and now, of course, Asprilla, Yasser Asprilla. I made a report on my website on Asprilla when he was still in Envigado. So also a big fan, and I hope that yeah, there was João Pedro, then Asprilla, and then the next big thing will be Doumbia. So I'm crossing my fingers for that.
Nice. He's already teasing the next big thing, so I'm looking forward to chat about him. Let's speak about him then. So, amongst the carnage that is Watford last week, out of nowhere, the club announced that we made the signing of Mamadou Doumbia. Before we talk about the player, how did you react to that news?
Uh, I wasn't very surprised as I knew from someone close to Doumbia that he was about to sign with Udinese. So he signed with Watford, so it stays in the family, I guess. So I wasn't really surprised. However, I was expecting some bigger clubs being after him. But it's always a good thing that a player doesn't take the huge step when he's 18. So if he would go to City or United or Liverpool, I kind of like that move. So step by step, and Watford is a decent first European step for him.
You mentioned there about Udinese. Was that just that they were looking at him, so he was on the radar, and Watford are the ones that are signing him, or are Udinese likely to sign him in the future?
Uh, from what I have heard, the person who's close to Dumbia told me that 90% he's the new Udinese player. Sorry, my cat is screaming. Um, so yeah, I was prepared for the Udinese move, but then Watford came, and yeah, uh, as I said, I'm kind of surprised that no no bigger clubs were after him this time. So because he was, in my opinion, he's one of the biggest under 18 talents in Africa right now. So yeah.
Wow. That sounds great. Okay, let's find out more about him. Tell us about him. Where is he from? Tell us a bit about his background.
The background is quite difficult for African players. Even the most well-known, like Osimhen, we don't really know much about their past. So he's a player of Black Stars FC. Can say that I'm a big follower of Black Stars FC. So the first time that I saw him was at the Africa Cup of Nations. So his background, yeah, he's from Black Stars FC. He was one of the biggest stars, probably the biggest star at the Africa Cup of Nations of this amazing Malian under 17 team. And then the World Cup wasn't that, the World Cup under 17 wasn't that successful for him because of the red card against Spain. But yeah, this Malian generation is simply amazing. Honestly, at the World Cup under 17, They won only the bronze medal, but in my opinion, they were by far the best team at the tournament. So
Who won that tournament in the end?
Germany won the tournament. Mali finished third, also because of Doumbia's red card. So it wasn't a very successful tournament for him. He played in 4 games and scored 4 goals. So the stats are good, but yeah, he made a big mistake, a silly red card against Spain in the second game of the tournament, and this affected this Malian team because he was the leader, he was the main star. They were still strong enough to make the semi-final, but I think that without that red card, they could win this tournament easily.
And do you know what the red card was for? Was it? You said it was a mistake.
Yeah, it was a silly foul. It was a silly foul, and yeah, okay, it happens a lot in youth football. I wouldn't dig deeper. Like, okay, he has some character problems. I don't think so. It was a silly foul, and after his reaction, you could see that yeah, he knew that he made a silly mistake. But I don't think there are some mental issues with Doumbia. It was just yeah, it happens.
Just one of those things. Okay, well, you told us about kind of we know he's a striker, but tell us about kind of what type of player he is. What's the profile?
Okay, so on my website, I published a list of player roles in football nowadays. In my opinion, it's extremely important because when someone tells me, yeah, he's a defensive midfielder, I said, yeah, but like Pirlo or Casemiro, there's a big difference. So I'm a big fan of describing players by their player roles. So in my opinion, the player role that fits Doumbia the best is the modern target man. What does it mean, the modern target man? So like 20 years ago, I'm lucky enough to have watched football in the 90s, and in my opinion, football changed a lot. People say that it was better in the 90s. Okay, it was more technical, elegant. Now it's more athletic and pacey. So the modern target man is the obvious result of the changes in football. So 20 years ago, if you had a striker with one who had more than 185 centimeters, he was a target man. So back to goal, link up play, some goals. Now we have the modern target man. So tall strikers that are also very good face to goal. And they're very fast. They're strong, fast. They are good back to goal, face to goal. The best examples: Rasmus Højlund, Erling Haaland, Terem Moffi. So I would really compare Doumbia to these players. Like, okay, he's really athletic. He's really strong. For an 18-year-old, he is almost ready to play a senior football. But he's also fast. He has decent technique, good link up. So a very modern and demanded style of a striker nowadays.
You mentioned some names there which are quite excited, and he's left-footed, isn't he? Is there one standout player who our fans could kind of compare him to in terms of that profile?
Yeah, let's say Romelu Lukaku, maybe a slightly more mobile version of Romelu Lukaku, or Terem Moffi, which I'm a big fan as well. So yeah, left-footed modern target man. Also, Rasmus Højlund is a decent comparison. I'm not going to say, oh, I already mentioned Haaland, but okay, let's not mention Haaland because people will go crazy, especially after yesterday. So yeah, let's say Højlund, Lukaku, Moffi.
Yeah, we've already had a Hertfordshire Haaland this season, which Watford fans will know about. So we don't want any more comparisons like that. Tell us about kind of what kind of goals does he score? Is it kind of really controlled finish? Is he good with his head? Long range shot? What can we expect?
Really powerful shooting skills from mid range. A really good finisher, a very good instinct. So tap-ins, very good in the air, very strong, destroying defenders easily. So yeah, he really is a complete forward for an 18-year-old. He has all the tools to become a top class striker. I'm not going to say world class, but top class striker, which maybe he will even become world class striker. We never know. it depends on his really mentality and luck. So yeah.
And we know obviously how old he is, but is there any weaknesses that you can see in his game early on in his career?
Yeah, so of course he's not like the most elegant, so playing in tight spaces, I would say. He's not the best dribbler, even though he can lose his opponents thanks to his pace. He's agile for his size. But yeah, I would say, yeah, playing in tight spaces, like close control, this is the thing that he could improve. But yeah, let's say like Rasmus, all the other modern target men are not the most elegant strikers in the world, so he could improve that, but if he doesn't, yeah, okay, I will live with that.
Absolutely, yeah. And you mentioned kind of the African Cup of Nations Youth one and the Under-17s World Cup, but when did he first come on your radar, and what's he doing now after? Is he just playing for the Black Stars?
No, I saw him first at the AFCON. In my opinion, he was one of the three best players of this tournament. So I needed to see like 20 minutes of him, and I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna make a report on this guy. This guy, yeah, he's the one. So I selected him, like he was the first player I selected from this AFCON. So yeah, he impressed me quite a lot. I saw that this is the profile that Europeans will love. This is the profile that's yeah, I scout professionally as well, and most of the clubs, when we talk about African players, they tell me, yeah, this is the type of striker I want. So and at the AFCON he was awesome. He was really awesome. Then there was this World Cup under-17, and yeah, he started the tournament with the hat trick against Uzbekistan, and I said to myself, I would put my money, I would put my house, I would put everything that he's going to be the top scorer of this tournament. And I am 99% sure that he would be the top scorer if not this red card in the second game against Spain. So he got a red card and the suspension. Then he came back, but Mali was winning everything, so the coach didn't really want to change the team. And then he scored the goal against Argentina in the third place playoff. So it wasn't really a very successful tournament for him, but yeah, he's still such a huge talent.
It's not bad, is it? 4 goals. You mentioned João Pedro early on. Obviously, Yasser Asprilla, who's kind of been one of our most important and best players this season, another young player. The Pozzos have done really well in identifying young talent and going for them early and giving them those platforms to kind of resale. The club have said he's coming in starting from the 1st of July in the summer. He's just turned 18, I think. Where do you see his progression next season? Do you think he can come in straight away and look to play in the first team, or will he not have that physicality yet for the Championship, because it's a really tough league?
Oh yeah, he has the physicality, you will see. Yeah, for the first season, I wouldn't expect him to be the main striker, of course, but he has the profile to be like a backup striker or a third striker. A team like Watford, they really need like 3 or 4 good strikers, let's be honest, in such a demanding league. So I think Doumbia can be even second or third choice striker, like giving him 20 minutes every game to. Of course, the first year will be the adaptation year, so it won't be easy. But yeah, I think he can be the part of the first team. I think he can make the bench. I think he can even give some quality from time to time. But his time will come probably in like 2 years, I would say. But yeah, in my opinion, he should be around the first team, let's say, around the first 11 even.
Yeah, he's someone who it sounds like we could do now. We've got injuries in that area, so came on the plane already. I wanted to talk about kind of what formations he's played in, what's best suited to him. At the moment, we're playing a 4-3-3, and the current manager does like a really dynamic, pressing, big centre forward. Obviously, we don't want to put too much pressure on Doumbia, and we know he's only young, so it does kind of seem like he's the profile that match what the head coach wants. But we know with Watford, the head coach could change. But what favours his style in terms of shape and formation from different teams? How do we get the best out of him?
So in my report on my website, you can see that I put him like as a center forward in 4-3-3. So yeah, it's the perfect system for him. And as I said, he's not just a target man, the guy who is not mobile at all. He's pretty mobile. So I think the coach will love him. And the best position, lone striker in 4-3-3. I think Watford knew it already before signing him. So this is the perfect system for him.
Yeah, the ideal situation is we stick with the current coach. The team have been working with this 4-3-3 system, and we just kind of look to recruit in the right positions with the right players that we want. And it sounds like we have done with Doumbia. So hopefully we can keep with the coach and we can get him in and we can see him next season. Just to wrap up then, we've spoken about it a bit earlier on, but how high do you think his ceiling is? What do you think his career progression will be? Do you think it will be a couple of years at Watford and he'll make an impact in the second or third year and then he'll get a big move to similar to João Pedro?
I really think so. Well, I'm not a clairvoyant, so in football you never know. There can be injuries, so maybe in 2 years I will say he has the top 6 Premier League potential, and after 2 years he will be in Walsall, and people will say, "Oh, look, this guy was." But in my opinion, his ceiling is a top 6 Premier League clubs. I think he has the profile. He was born to play in the Premier League. Let's be honest. So I really think that if all the mental things, if he has the character, because I know him only from the pitch, so I don't really know him personally. So, but if the mentality will follow his skills, I'm gonna say without a problem a top 6 Premier League club in a few years. So
wow.
A really huge sailing. And from this Malayan team, I think there are 3 or 4 players that could make it as well. It's a really golden generation of this Mali of this country. And you mentioned João Pedro, and I would say that if you would mix João Pedro with Doumbia skills, you would have the perfect player, the perfect attacking player. Because what Doumbia lacks is João Pedro technique, dribbling skills, and what João Pedro lacks is this Doumbia's instinct and determination in the penalty area. So if we could mix them two, wow, that would be golden ball material, let's say.
Sounds like, who knows, in 5, 6, 10 years time they might be playing with each other in a top 6 Premier League team. But really, really exciting. When the news came out of nowhere, and I straight away went onto your website to check him out. Obviously saw the clips from under 17s, and that's one thing that our ownership have been really, really good at, unearthing these gems. And when you were talking about kind of the progression, thing I was a bit worried about was not so much on his side, more Watford's stability in the club. We brought in Ismail Assar, different stage of his career, but we spent a big money on him, and I don't think we had the best environment for him to reach the full potential. But in recent years with João Pedro and Yasser Asprilla, where there isn't as much pressure maybe in the Championship, they've got a bit more time to grow, more opportunities and minutes. I think signing this Doumbia, get him in the first team, could be great for us. So really looking forward to it, and thank you so much.
The pleasure is all mine, and for me the signings like Doumbia for a club like Watford, so a club that doesn't have the, let's say, Qataris behind them, it's the way to go. It's the way to go, honestly. So signing young players, promoting them, and selling them for big money. So it's the way to go, and I'm really maybe not surprised, but I'm really proud of Watford. So João Pedro and Asprilla and now Doumbia, it's masterclass scouting, honestly. So
nice. And speaking of masterclass scouting, tell us a bit about where our followers can follow you. You're on social media. Tell us about your website as well.
Yeah, so you guys can follow me mostly on Twitter. So Talent Scout on Twitter, and then my website footballtalentscout.net. Hundreds of reports, analysis of players from all around the world. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah, I'll make sure to put the link in the bio, so make sure you follow. And yeah, you need to give us a heads up every time you see a new bit of talent that hopefully Watford can come and sign.
I would be more than happy to work for Watford and find some new jewels for you guys.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening. Hope you found it interesting. We learned all about the player today. Make sure you smash a like. Put in the comments to tell us where you think Doumbia will play next season. Will he come straight into the first team? And make sure you subscribe on the way out. Thanks again to our special guest, and we'll see you guys soon. Up the Hornets.
Thank you.